Is Ukraine planning to unleash a dirty NUKE and blame it on Russia? And is Russia currently at DEFCON 2, ready to unleash the beast? Today on Mikhail Messenger. Welcome to Mikhail Messenger. It's great to be with you guys today. Some shout outs to Robert, Blessed All, Michelle. I see you guys in the chat there. And thanks for tuning in for this quick news report. Guys, things are happening. David, Amanda, saw you pop in there too. Things are happening in the world. And if you blink, you might miss it. You might just wind up in heaven because the whole world got blown up and you're wondering what happened. And while you're at it, be sure to hit that like button, the subscribe button. Please hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our important updates as well. And of course, we want to make sure that that you are getting our updates. The best way to do is to become a member and join us in the Members Lounge. You can do that by clicking the join button on our channel or on this video. And you can also support us through the links in the description. Thank you so much for your support. So, guys, imminent NUKE explosion is what they're reporting. This is Russia signaling this, and they have reported it to all the major nations around them. It says radioactivity will cover Poland, red alert on radiation and CBRN forces. They're saying it could reach up to 1,500 kilometers if this dirty BOMB explodes. And what they're claiming is that Ukraine is planning to unleash it and blame it on Russia, which sounds about right, to be honest. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's hope it doesn't happen. But I wouldn't be surprised. There's a lot of blaming going on for what other people are doing. So we'll see. But will Article 5 be triggered if radioactivity hits Poland? Article 5 is the NATO protocol, I believe, so that NATO gets involved. Although we already know that NATO is pretty much involved anyway. In an emergency update, the Russian Ministry of Defense announced it has placed the radiological, chemical, and biological protection forces on red alert as either the explosion of a dirty NUKE or the firing of a tactical NUKE weapon in Ukraine is imminent. From the information released by the Russian Ministry of Defense and unfortunately confirmed 100% by this news broadcast, it appears that Moscow believes that Ukraine will detonate a tactical NUKE weapon, as it states that radioactive substances will cover Poland and also spread into the atmosphere at a distance of about 1,500 kilometers. Now, just to give you an idea of that, here's a map from Kiev to Moscow. That's about 876 kilometers. So we're talking about there and back. Twice that distance is how far this radioactive material could go if the explosion does indeed happen. So we're talking about something enhanced. The question is now whether Article 5 of NATO will be activated if Poland is infected. Well, as we know, NATO's already got their hand in the pie, so to speak. Let's see. Additionally, according to the Russian Ministry of Defense, Kakhovska Dam and Dnipro Dam will be blown up. A dirty NUKE or tactical NUKE will be detonated in Kherson. 6 units of the Zaporizhzhia NUKE plant will be blown up. The Russians describe the ultimate apocalypse scenario. We have information specific regarding the construction of a dirty BOMB. Okay, and here is him announcing that. He says, we have specific information about those institutions in Ukraine. This is the Russian Minister of Defense. Those scientific institutions have the technology to build a dirty BOMB. We have information which we verified through the appropriate channels that this is not an empty suspicion, that there are serious grounds for believing that such things may be planned. We're in the final stages. With some of the interlocutors, Shogu agreed to hold additional consultations on this topic at a professional level. Of course, we see the media reaction of the West. It doesn't surprise us because they're all a bunch of nuts. It goes in line with the reckless support that the West provides to the henchman Zelensky, providing him with indulgence for any Russophobic actions. Okay. So they say we are in the final stage. They said today that Ukraine has entered the final stage of building a dirty BOMB It is Moscow's second warning since yesterday, Sunday, but which Kiev and its Western allies reject. According to the information we have, 2 Ukrainian organizations have specific instructions to build the so-called dirty BOMB. Their work has entered the final stage, says Major General Igor Krylov of Russia's military's head. The purpose of this provocation is to accuse Russia of using weapons of mass destruction in Ukraine and thus launch a strong anti-Russian campaign in the world, intimidate the local population, and increase the flow of refugees across Europe. Krylov referred to Zelensky's speech in Munich last February when he said he expressed his intention to restore Ukraine's NUK regime. It's also noteworthy that during the special military operation, Zelensky repeatedly called on NATO countries to carry out strikes on Russia. Red alert for radiation, chemical, and biological protection forces. The Russian military has reportedly put its forces on high alert to carry out operations in radioactively contaminated conditions due to the possibility of Ukraine using this dirty BOMB. The Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation has information that the Kiev regime is planning a provocation related to the detonation of so-called dirty BOMB, or a low-yield NUK weapon. The Ministry of Defense has put the forces on high alert to deal with the possible challenges from Ukraine. The forces and means are ready to perform tasks in conditions of radioactive contamination. The explosion of a radiological explosive device will inevitably lead to radioactive contamination of the area up to several thousand square meters. According to the information we have, 2 Ukrainian organizations have specific instructions to create the so-called dirty BOMB. In addition, we have information about the context of the Office of the President of Ukraine with representatives of Great Britain on the issue of the possible acquisition of technology for the NUKs. Okay, so that's basically what they're planning. This one doesn't have translation, so I'm going to keep going. I find the Western rhetoric about the possibility of, etc. Right. And here's basically the map of that area that would be covered, by that. If it was to explode, that's kind of how far the area would go in terms of contamination. Although that only says 910 kilometers, and they're saying 1,500. So I don't think that's quite giving you the full scope of how far it could go with the wind blowing it and so forth, the radioactive material. Just a couple other thoughts on this. And here, the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs informed 4 NATO countries of imminent NUK explosion in Ukraine. France also confirms this as well. They informed Britain, France, Turkey, and so forth, and the USA, of course. And they've begun the practical implementation. Kiev has begun the practical implementation of this nightmarish plan, according to Russia. Now, again, you don't know who to trust in all of this. Obviously, there's a lot of wars and rumors of wars, but there are reports of the Kiev regime of preparing provocation. I mean, we know that Russia has been saying, hey, we're not afraid to use it. And we know that Zelensky has been saying, yes, we should use it against them. I mean, those statements are true. So the question is, who's on first, right? Who's gonna be the first to pull the plug, press the red button, etc. Second telephone conversation in 3 days with Shoigu. Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Britain, France, and Turkey, using a dirty BOMB. France also confirms it. France Ministry of Defense confirmed in a statement the reference to Russian fears of a strike with a dirty BOMB by the Ukrainians on the territory to blame Russia. France rejects any form of escalation, especially NUKEs, to contribute to a peaceful, and they're determined to contribute to a peaceful solution, etc. Just a couple more thoughts on this, and that is apparently Russia is at DEFCON 2. So just want to let you know that. So DEFCON 2, if you're wondering, at least according to the U.S., DEFCON 2 is a red-colored condition level similar to a red alert warning level status. DEFCON 2 means we're at the next step to war or a nuclear threat. During this alert level, the United States Armed Forces are ready, prepared to ship out in 6 hours' time or less, hence the name fast-paced. DEFCON 2 or fast-paced is the second highest condition level in the warning system. So this means that we're ready in 6 hours or less, and it's the next step to NUKE threat in the U.S. Now, supposedly we're only at DEFCON 3, but it's been that way since February. I think things have changed since February. This is since February 28th. That's the last report they have here. So my guess is we are probably also at a level 2 or something similar without us even knowing about it, because what good would that do? Right? Such as the Cuban Missile Crisis. It was the last time we were at that level, and I think we've kind of passed the Cuban Missile Crisis at this point in terms of how intense and serious this is. So there you go, guys. Just a quick report. Just wanted to give you that update there. Others are also reporting on this. as well. So it's throughout the news. So just want to let you know, guys, be looking up. Jesus should be coming back anytime now based on the scriptures and all that's happening in the world. So let's be hopeful and look for his return. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you, make his face shine upon you, be gracious to you, and turn his face toward you and give you peace. Wishing you all the best, all the blessed, and Maranatha.